genitalia on the face. Ew. The licking of the face. Ew.
Hyperdrive is perfect for slimy Saturdays, if you're into that kind of thing.
Hyperdrive is kind of like a British Avenue 5 from 2006.
Hyperdrive had a lot of licking.
That is true.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast, the podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. Right now, people are like, wait, licking, slime, British, pass. And wasn't Avenue 5 British? I thought Avenue 5 was already British.
Maybe.
I don't know.
By British people.
Yeah, it had British people. I'm not sure if the show was British, but it had British people in it.
So anyway, everybody, we are doing a review. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were gonna.
No, sorry. I think it was made by British people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing our review of Hyperdrive, first episode entitled "A Gift from the Glish," and this is viewable on Amazon Prime. Of course, when somebody says Vice Provost for Academic Affairs at Duke University, you say what? Dr. Muhammad Noor, of course.
Hello. Always a pleasure to be on Fallingtower's Watch the First of Things.
That's right. And when you say actress, entrepreneur, and maker of things, you're thinking Malissa Longo.
Hi. Yes, I do make things. They're not always great, but I do make things.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and I make jokes that are also not always great.
Usually great.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Let's just get into this. Everybody at home, if you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, just type WTF and the show that you'd like us to review. Like in this case, you would have typed Hyperdrive. You would say sorry, WTF Hyperdrive, because that stands for Watch First. WTF Hyperdrive. And then you would say on Amazon Prime so that we know where to watch it. And we're not like feverishly trying to figure it out. Make it easy on us, please. And please give this video a like. Please be sure you are subscribed. Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening in on an audio podcast, and leave us some comments below telling us what you think of this and your suggestions. Let's have some fun. Damn it. Dr. Noor, where do we go?
In a predicament? Oh, is that were you asking me? Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh.
With a predicament, I didn't know what we were doing. Yes. we want to predict what each other think of this show, ahead of time. So do you want me to dive in?
Yeah, so everybody at home, we all know each other fairly well. Yeah. Fairly well. We can generally predict if the other person liked it or not. Actually, I'll start with you, Muhammad. Let me get up on you about this. I think you prefer highbrow things. This was less than highbrow. I think you are going to give it less than 5. Not way less than 5, but maybe not less than 5 because of your reaction right there. I may have to change my answer. You're going to give it slightly more than a 5. Malissa, I think you're going to give it a little bit more than Muhammad. You're going to say this one was good, not great. You laughed a lot. You went, ew, a lot of times. And because we all did. And those are my predictions for the two of you. What do you think, Muhammad? Any predictions?
I do have some predictions. I think I'm going to go more positive. I think Malissa liked the show a lot. That's my guess. I think Melissa's going to think this was quite funny. And so I think Melissa's going to be, in the 8-ish range. That's my guess. Ryan, it's harder to guess for you for comedy. I think you still liked it pretty well. Maybe not quite as much as Melissa, but I think you were still going to be pretty positive on it. That's my guess. So,
Melissa, your thoughts?
Okay, so I'm going to predict that this was not Muhammad's cup of tea. It's not his cup of Earl Grey.
Earl Grey hot.
And Ryan, I'm going to guess he didn't love it either, only because it's British. And he's not a fan of British television. And although he may have laughed at some of the gross bits, so yeah, I don't know. He is a difficult one to read when it comes to comedy, but I'm going to say that he didn't hate it, but he didn't love it either.
Mm-hmm. You know, when you said Ryan didn't like it because it's British television, I wanted to be like, what? But I liked, and I thought about it, I was like, yeah, maybe none of them ever. Very possibly. Can't think of any. All right, so those are our predictions. Everybody at home, if you have some predictions, type them in right now in the live chat or in the comments below. Do you think I like this British show? Do you think Mohammed liked this sci-fi show? Do you think Malissa liked this gross out comedy? You let us know in the comments below or in the live chat. And while you're typing away, no rush, take your time. Dr. Mohammed Noor is going to tell us all what this show is even about.
I will give you some time. In the year 2151, the crew of the spaceship HMS Camden Lock seek to advance British interests across the galaxy, though appear not very good at doing so. In this episode, Captain Henderson meets an alien species called the Glish, who like to awkwardly lick and otherwise touch people who they meet. But the crew is unable to secure a trade deal with them. The Glish leave a deadly xenomorph spawn behind on the ship. Captain Henderson and crew then meet with an isolationist Uberon minister to secure a trade deal, but things go awry when the Glish spawn begins killing and dismembering the ship's crew and threatens the Uberon minister. You're muted.
A lot of interesting things in there. I noticed that you said xenomorph, even though they pronounced it as xenomorph. So as Americans, we translate into American English when we're watching something. All right. So hopefully everybody, you've got your predictions in or are finishing those up right now. And then pencils down, number 2 pencils down, because we're going to start giving you some hints as to whether we liked this show. Mohammed?
You
were going like this, but I thought you were like revving up like those zapping medical things.
No. Right, clear?
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is the section of the show we like to call Expectation. So we talk about what we expect, we spend a little bit of time on that. And then we talk about what you getcha, which we spend a lot of time on. So there you go. Clear.
All right. So I just think everybody at home is right now is thinking like, that's the first time I've seen people laughing at like regulating heartbeats. Like, it's so funny though. All right. So let's compare and contrast what we expected versus what we got. It's serious time. Dr. Mohammed Noor, before you saw this very first episode of Hyperdrive entitled A Gift from the Glish back in 2006, I believe it was. What did you expect, if anything?
I can be very brief because absolutely nothing. Never heard of it. Didn't know anything about it. I pulled up the show and I saw the first image. I think it was similar to the one behind you, Ryan. I was like, I don't know what this is. I mean, I know it's sci-fi month here on Falling Towers. I watched the first, so I assumed it was something sci-fi, but I didn't even know if it was going to be comedy or drama or anything. I knew literally nothing about the show.
What about you, Malissa Longo? What did you expect, if anything?
Ditto. I never heard anything about this show, so when I pulled it up on Amazon to see what it looked like, the first picture was behind Ryan, and so I was like, oh, it's British. And then 30 minutes, oh, it's probably comedy. So yeah.
Good Ghost reference, by the way. Ditto. Remember?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Ditto. What the hell does ditto mean?
Yeah.
Love that. Great scene.
Ditto.
Great line.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll tell you all what I expected. Similar. Same, in fact. I didn't know anything.
By someone?
By Amazon. Amazon was like, this is what you want. But I'd never heard of it. So that may have given us a hint. Like for me, I should have thought, if I've never heard of this, maybe there's a reason. As Jerry Seinfeld says, maybe the road less traveled is less traveled for a reason. So, but we're about to find out if that is actually the case. In a little segment I like to call the other half of this segment. So, Dr. Muhammad Noor, upon viewing this first episode, what did you actually get?
Well, right off the bat, I was extremely excited when I saw Nick Frost, who's right here. I was very excited when I saw him because I remembered him very well from, Shaun of the Dead, from Hot Fuzz, from movies like that. I was like, oh my God, it's that guy. He's so funny. I love it. So I was very excited when I saw him. It was interesting. I did like it overall. I mean, I think you guys estimated a little low on me there. I was more positive. I think you guys were thinking it for me, but I enjoyed the silliness to it. The silliness did go further than I may have preferred, but I did enjoy the silliness to it. There are a lot of scenes. I have a whole bunch of like ha. I always write the word ha when there's a funny scene. I have a lot of ha's throughout this whole thing. So yeah, I found myself engaged and enjoying the whole episode overall. There were some aspects I wasn't as crazy about. I mentioned sometimes the silliness got a little far at times. It felt really low budget. I don't know why it felt that way. I mean, I was thinking like even for 2006, this feels like, I don't know. It's just even the quality of the video itself didn't seem great. But I mean, even the things they were doing, a lot of it seemed odd. Like I got very confused with Sandstrom there. Like, what does she do? Why is she miming? Why do they steer a ship by miming? So things like that, which I just didn't fully get. But overall, I mean, it was comedy. It was entertaining. I found myself engaged the whole time. I definitely didn't look at my watch at all through the whole thing. So it came across pretty positive. Pass the baton to Miss Malissa.
Oh, so I got a show that felt to me like a mashup, and I have a list. A mashup between Babylon 5, Avenue 5, Alien, Spaceballs, Blade of Honor, Farscape, the first couple of episodes of The Orville, Galaxy Quest, and Red Dwarf. All mushed into one. One kind of disjointed and messy first episode. There were some funny moments, and the opening line I thought was funny from the ship's computer on Take Your Clone to Work Day. Yeah. That was that got me. And the stuff with the Glish had me entertained, and I said, you're right, Ryan. I said, ew, so much. And I have it written in my notes. Ew, 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 ew. Gross. Gross.
We want specifics.
The genitalia on the face. Ew. The licking of the face. Ew. It was just like, oh, that literally almost made me gag because it was so disgusting. But after the Glish left, the energy kind of fell for me in the rest of it, and there were bits that I don't know why they were there, part of the story, and so it kind of felt disjointed to me, and I don't understand Sandstrom. I don't know what the point of Sandstrom is.
She's like the navigator
or some sort of, or was she just like some like robot thing? I was a little confused what that was too.
Yeah, I mean, I got that initially, but then she would just do random things in the background, and I'm like, what? Why? Why?
Well, I'll tell y'all what I got. I don't know what Sandstorm was doing out there. I think she's probably just a human with a helmet. Who's like a navigator or something, or maybe she's just a robot. But here's the key. I felt similar to Malissa in that actually the gross out part was more entertaining than post gross out part, because then there was a moment that got pretty good. There was a lot of tension when they were in like the urine closet.
That was great.
And it's like, you're in trouble, buddy. And there's like the tense music and the screams, and there was the raised stakes because they're trying to tell him everything's fine, everything's okay, but they're super concerned about what's going on. That was pretty good. That was, they earned that. I did eventually do the old, is this thing over soon moment, but only with a few minutes left. So it almost hung in there the whole way. I got something that was fine. Probably a little bit better than I expected. And fine. I was fine with it. It was cool. But let's just get into the thing we usually forget. Yes, Mohammed, go ahead.
I was going to say, Melissa raised her hand a second ago. I'm not sure if you were trying to say something.
No, there. I forgot to mention there was a moment where I was looking at how much longer this was going to go, and that's not always a good sign. But that doesn't mean to say that I didn't have enjoyable moments in there as well. That I didn't go, that's clever. Oh, that's funny. That's disgusting.
I didn't know who this Nick Frost guy is. I don't know. I did not recognize any of these people at all.
Her. She's fantastic.
You've seen her before? What was she in?
Well, the thing that I saw her in was called The Midwife, and she was fantastic in that.
Comedic as well?
No, it was serious.
Wow.
Yeah, she's got a good range, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to say right now that she and checks notes, Jeffers were my two favorite characters. I thought she was going to be my favorite character, and then Jeffers just came flying in, just being like, no, you can't forget how funny I am in this. And it all started off with the alarm clock situation when he calls in. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever. I don't care. And then when he's like, am I going to have a scar? And he says, a massive scar. And he's like, awesome, or something
I wrote
to that nature.
Down too.
Mohammed, did you have a favorite character or three?
I thought York was interesting. I would hate him in person, but I thought he was interesting. Just that intensity he had about everything and how he was like going after the xenomorph and things like that.
Which one was York in the far corner there?
It's on this guy. Yeah, him. Yeah, I thought his intensity was good. And I found him amusing. I don't know. It's hard to know. It was very much an ensemble. I mean, I'm biased towards Nick Frost. So I'm tempted to say that, but I was trying not to pick the main character as favorite character because it's a little too obvious.
What about you, Malissa Longo? Did you have a favorite character named Teal?
Yes, Teal was my overall favorite, but I also liked Jeffers too, because he had some fun moments. And I did write down the one where he said, am I going to have a scar? But Teal, I think her delivery is so great. I enjoy her as an actress overall, and I think she did this role pretty well.
I also feel like her character was the most fleshed out in the script. Like it was very obvious who she was. I mean, obviously there's a captain, but besides that, you could tell what her role was immediately. You get it right away. And so she's easy to like latch onto quickly. And then she performed well. She had good moments. Very, very easy to like character, I thought. And she was super tall.
Yeah, she's 6'1".
Is that it? So this other guy is just not. Because it was always funny to see her next to him and having like that little opposite thing. And she kept like touching his little shoulder all seductively. And at one point she goes like this and he says, thank you. stop it, or something like that.
Don't.
Yeah, don't. That's what it was. Don't.
It's like, don't.
So then we're led to question, do they have some kind of thing going on, or is she just pining over him only?
She clearly likes
Just
him.
pining. I think it's just one-sided, and I think that he's aware of it, but he uses it only when he needs it for sympathy and because when he says, "I could kiss you," and then she goes, "Could you?"
And then the little great shot was the little side of the chair that's kind of turning and blocking his face a little bit. And she's like looking. That was great.
Yeah. Lots of good moments.
Muhammad, I thought you were about to say something, but I guess not.
No, I mean, I can. I mean, I like that scene too. With the, I mean, I didn't love her pining over him. I was like, oh, come on. but I did like the way they played it, where she couldn't see it, and she's like looking over there. So I thought that was good. I had a lot of scenes that I wrote down that were really funny. I like the video for when he called his son, was talking about the evil robots, and was so like over the top about how evil they were, and saying like, oh, but don't worry, Dad will take care of them, and he'll deal with the nightmares associated with it. Things like that. I thought that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But him trying to avoid as they call it, the brat run. It was basically like the school bus ship.
School bus, yeah.
Yeah. There was a one-off when somebody was trying to go to the bathroom, and they said, enter the second, third, and 84th numbers of your security code to enter the bathroom. I thought that was funny. Let's see. The interaction with Teal and the Ubron minister was good. I did like, I think you brought this up too, when they're in that urine processing area, and he's like, what's that smell? And he's like, I don't know what it is. And he's like, it literally says urine processing.
Where am I? Urine processing.
Yeah. The terms and conditions, accepting all those on the gun before it would fire. I thought that was
my gosh. Did
good.
You notice they were crutches?
I thought the same. I said the guns look like crutches.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like
low budget. Crutches. What is this?
Well, it's British television. They don't have the same kind of budget as American television.
I will say the initial and subsequent exterior shots of the ships looked good enough to me. It was better than I expected, better than the interior. The exterior, I was like, wow, looks pretty good for this low budget show. Like, that was kind of my first feeling on it, was that the VFX were not the low point. And oftentimes the VFX is where the low budget really shows. But in this case, it didn't. I was pretty happy that they were able to pull that off.
Yeah, that one ship that went into dock was pretty cool looking. The half circle thing.
I thought their ship was the half circle thing, and they were docking onto that other space station or something, but maybe it's vice versa.
No, the Glish ship was the half circle thing, and then theirs was the cylinder.
Okay. The cylinder. Oh yeah, Mr. York, I called him the snoot. Yeah, so he's the snoot. That was my one description. Or when they had the Glish first walk in and they're like, ah, and they're like, your accent's very good. That was funny. At one point, the female Glish had like a dangling participle.
Yes. I was like, ew. That's so gross.
Yeah.
Similar to language at the end when they were calling the whale people of Jerain. And so,
yeah. Rude.
Yeah. They should save that one for the 4th episode. The one with the whales. Thank you. That's a Star Trek joke. So I had a few ha-has. And the Glish I thought looked like the Malon on Voyager. Right when they walked in. Like the Malon with a head cold. A very extensive and mucusy and viscous head cold. Mostly exterior. People that haven't watched the show are like, no way am I going to watch this show now. I don't want to see that. Don't worry. It's way at the end. And also when Teal's friend calls in, whatever is Vasoff or something like that, Phasmoff, and they're doing like the guitar, ding, 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 ding. They're doing all this weird stuff. Totally funny. House Beetle, he says, cool. Jeffers cracked me up almost every time. So good. Like when he's getting eaten by the alien, he's like, so, this guy, the alien looked terrible. No offense to anybody that made the alien, but that kind of stuff is expensive. And clearly they didn't have that kind of budget. Kind of reminded me of Slimer from the 1985 Ghostbusters film, just kind of but it was 20 years later. And it was cool. Made me laugh. I did laugh a few times.
I forgot one, the tea and shortbread gift box.
Oh my gosh.
That was great.
Malissa Longo, what were moments that made you laugh the most? Oh, what's up with the dude's earlobe braids too? Just one more thing. I didn't notice that at first, and I was like,
same
earlobe braids? What the crap?
I don't know if we got it added or we just didn't see it till later, but I think I didn't notice it first.
It was there the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, was? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was the most interesting part on that dude, were his earlobe braids. I mean, his hair was funny, but it's funny hair.
What were the most interesting parts on the glish?
Ew, all the gross parts. They were so gross, but fascinating, which is, their grossness was very fascinating. But like I said, bring your clone to work day. And if you do not have a clone, visit level 7 and one will be assigned to you. I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. The moment with the shortbread cookies and he slapped it out of her hands and she said, "They're right there. You want them?" And there are a couple of, I can't remember specifics now.
What's up with all the aliens that have British accents?
Universal translator, just injustice.
Yes.
But then, of course, they watch our shows and they're probably like, what's up with all the aliens with British accents? To which I would retort, when I watch Star Trek, a lot of those aliens have British accents, actually.
Yeah, but maybe it's like your GPS where you can choose your accent.
Totally. Absolutely
what
right.
You hear.
Mm-hmm.
So
good point.
They're Brits.
Fine.
I did notice that. And I wrote down the thing about the loo, the toilet, the access code, and that was funny. But I did notice Sandstrom's shoes. And they looked a lot like Saru's shoes in the way they go like that in the heel. I was like, oh, pre-discovery.
Cool. Didn't notice that.
I didn't say. So I mean, we back in Comedy Month, we did a lot of shows that didn't have nearly this many funny scenes. So kudos to them. There's a lot here.
Yeah, that's true. It was funnier than the funny shows, than the funny shows.
And when Vine was getting slathered with honey, and it was the sacrifice, that was disgusting and funny.
Yes, agree. I have that one written down too.
I found myself wondering if that's what they used for the glish, if that was just honey.
Oh, yeah. I did.
That'd be terrible to wash off.
Yeah.
And there was, a lot of slime in this.
Yeah, washing off any food or sticky, syrupy honey or anything like that is just, But anyway, that's what actors do. Anytime you have like fake blood on you, it's usually some sugar-based something or other. It's something weird, so it could go in your mouth.
Glycerol.
Yeah, it's just it's always gross stuff. But anyway, good job, actors. You survived it. And who knows how many more episodes are going to be like that. I bet they're going to be. I mean, if they did that many gross things in the first episode, that's probably not the end of it.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a lot more of that. Yeah. But let's talk about something that's not gross, shall we? Mohammed puts down his clipboard happily.
Yes. Excited to talk about Malissa. Yay!
That's
Oh my
right.
goodness.
And her cat
I
shows
love
up
sheep.
just in time. Cat's like,
Yeah.
all right, time to talk about us.
No, she says, talk about me.
Well, Melissa, before we hit
Mhm.
record, you and Mohammed mentioned that you were on the Paramount lot. Is that right? What was that like?
That was great. I was there on Wednesday, which was so much fun. And the thing about being on set is it's a different experience every time. The basics are pretty much the same. You know what to expect going in as far as filling out vouchers, going to wardrobe, all of that stuff. Crafty, you figure out where that is. And usually breakfast. But every set and every crew is different, so that's really fun. And this was fun because we were on a sound stage, and I noticed that the California sound stages are a little bit different than the New York sound stages,
Really?
in that the California ones have like a proscenium arch type thing where like you're on a stage, like an actual stage. So the fourth wall is cut off, and that leaves room for the cameras to shoot down the aisle. Whereas in New York, it's the whole thing is enclosed. It's a 360-degree stage that's built up, and which has its own benefits too. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, and but the detail in both California and New York is incredible. So that's so fun to look at that stuff and I'm like, oh, I could live here. There's a bed and there's a bathroom and there's a kitchen.
But if it's a TV show, those beds and bathrooms and everything are usually kind of dusty. If it's a movie, it's just been built, it's going to be taken down. But if it's a TV show that's been going on for 3, 5, 20 years, you don't want to lay on that bed.
Right.
It's
right.
dusty.
Well, yeah, because it depends on what you're shooting in, I guess. But yeah, they did look dusty.
So very importantly, what did they feed you?
For lunch, we had this Hawaiian bowl type thing where you can choose what you have in it. And I had veggies and tofu since I'm a vegetarian. They only listed the meat options, and I was like, can I just have roasted vegetables and rice? And they're like, do you want tofu? And I was like, yeah. I love tofu. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh,
you're muted, Ryan.
Muted myself. So sorry. I thought I was unmuting myself. Tell us about your website, please, Melissa K. Longo.
Okay.
It's not K.
P. Longo.
Keep guessing.
Melissa M. Longo.
So my website is you can get my stuff now at theintrovertedrepublic.com. It's fairly new, less than a year old, less than 6 months old. Yes. I'm pointing my cat. And that's where Walking Art Made by Melissa is located now. And the Introverted Republic is going to house more artists, but I am first to be welcomed in to the site, the online store. So.
And I love that your store now has sweatshirts too, as well as t-shirts and things too. So that's very exciting for those of us in cooler climates.
Those are new, and it's been fun picking out the styles and stuff, and we're still figuring that stuff out too. And oh, thanks. Lay down. So we're still figuring a lot of that stuff out, and so much of it takes so much longer than you might think, but the nature of business, I guess.
Congratulations on the new partnership. It's awesome.
Yeah, Kwan King, and it's her birthday today, actually, and well, not
a couple weeks
the
ago.
day of, yeah, a couple of weeks
Another
ago,
day.
Happy belated, Kwan.
when we're actually filming. Yeah, so she's great, and I met her through my late husband, Aaron Eisenberg, and we're still friends too. So it's great.
You mentioned that they're going to be you're going to be housing a lot more at that website. Like what? Any ideas in particular?
There's
people or
nothing
groups?
specific yet. I do know that her initial idea was to make a website a safe place for artists to show their works and sell their stuff, but that was outside of the Etsy realm, because there's some limitations with Etsy. So just offer a different platform to showcase artists and have them have a home base, sort of.
It's fun seeing you struggle with a cat hair on your chin. We've all been there. You're like, I know there's a cat hair somewhere on my chin.
I feel it.
We got permanent cat hair on mine.
All right. So let's move forward, shall we, Mohammed? Yeah, he's ready to do his taekwondo. That's right, everybody. That karate chop signals the terrible twos.
Bottom line. Bottom. It's on the bottom. It's a line.
What do you think, Malissa?
What? The bottom deuce?
Okay. 3 answers, 3 people. Here we go. It's the final 2 questions of the show. The most important questions, by the way. Question number 1 is, Dr. Mohammed Noor, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode of Hyperdrive? The French would call Hyperdrive. First episode entitled A Gift from the Glish.
It's interesting. I had a suite of numbers written down. I had 7.2 that I crossed out, and I had 7.4, and I had that crossed out, and I had 6.7. I had that crossed out. Finally, I was like, you know what? Just go back to the first. I know you always do that, right? You're always like, just go back to what you said the first time. So I'll go with 7.2 out of 10. So again, the plot was kind of all over the place. The silliness was a little high. I still enjoyed it. It was fun. There was a lot of funny pieces to it. Again, more so than even some things that I thought were straight up comedies. So yeah, 7.2 for me.
I'd be very interested to know your thought process in what bumped it up and then bumped it down and then brought it back up. Do you remember any specifics?
Yeah, I think it was, so the bumping up, I remember thinking like, I really did actually enjoy it as I was watching it. I mean, I was laughing. I think that's why I bumped it up. But I was like, yeah, but the plot was kind of terrible. So that's why I went down. I was like, all right, just forget all this. And then just went back to the middle one.
See, that all makes sense. What about you, Malissa Longo? How many ratings did you give it?
3.
Wow.
3. I went from 6.5 to 6 to 5.5. And I think I'm going to stick with the 5.5. Only because there were some funny moments. So obviously 5 is you liked it more than the you hate it scale, as according to Josh Sussman.
That's right.
So I gave it a 5.5 because I thought Teal was fantastic. She stole the show for me. And there were some funny moments where I laughed out loud, but then I admit I got a bit bored in some parts, and I was like, okay, and distracted. I did get distracted. But there were moments that kept my interest, and so I'm giving it a 5.5, which is rare for British television because I do enjoy British television quite a bit.
Yeah,
Look, Brian.
bored and
I know.
distracted is pretty bad. If that's one of the worst things producer can hear. If you say I was angry, or if I was, laughing or sad or disappointed, anything's better than bored.
Lost interest.
Yeah. So, coincidentally enough, I too am giving it a 5.5. I too had 3 ratings that I gave it. However, I went in the opposite direction. I started with a 4.5, and then I was like, why am I being such a jerk? These guys, they made me laugh, right? They kind of did their thing. So I was like, all right, how about a 5? And I was like, but they really did accomplish what they set out to accomplish.
Yeah.
Clearly, they meant to do this style of humor, this type of show. And I feel like they absolutely checked off all of the boxes that they put on their checklist. The only problem is that their ceiling for that was low.
Yeah.
So even though they accomplished what they were setting to accomplish, in my mind, what they were setting to accomplish had a pretty low ceiling. So 5.5, it feels almost like it's a 5.5 out of 7. If you look at it that way. But that's where I landed, was a 5.5 because mission accomplished. Wasn't bad. But that's numerically. The real money is question number 2. For the purposes of this podcast, smells like incense around here. We all had to watch the first episode of Hyperdrive on Amazon Prime, but now that the podcast is over and we're free to move about the internet, Dr. Muhammad Noor, of your own volition, would you, should you, could you, might you, will you watch? No, just should you. Wait.
Yeah.
Would you?
Would you?
Yeah. Watch me would. Yeah. Could, yes, I have
watch
the
the second episode.
Yeah, I struggle a little bit on this one. I think I'm gonna say yes. Realistically, I think it's very unlikely. I'd have to really run out the shows I wanted to watch. But I could imagine a case where I'm like, oh, I can't think of anything else. I guess I'll just go and watch the second of the Hyperdrive. I could imagine that happening. So I'd say yes in that sense. But it's a not by a lot.
All right, Melissa, a different question for you. Maybe more concise. Would you watch the second?
Probably not. No. I do have a curiosity about how much grosser they get. As far as dumb in other episodes, but I don't have the curiosity. That's as far as my curiosity goes. I don't have. I'm not as invested in the characters to make me want to watch the second. So,
have you seen? Oh, that's right. You said you hadn't seen Nick Frost in anything before. Right.
I have seen him in stuff, and I think he's a good actor too.
Yeah.
It's just the show didn't capture me as well as some other stuff.
I wasn't trying to talk you out of it. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, bad news is it's my time to shit on this show and say that I would not watch the second episode. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the show. I'm just saying, I was okay with it. It was fine. We could part amicably. I would recommend it to a friend. Be like, yeah, if you like, whatever.
What was the most recent show that made you mad?
I know.
I'll tell you, the show that made me mad. Actually, I could find a show that made me mad.
Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf.
Make you mad?
If yeah, a little bit.
Very grumpy, but not mad.
He made him grumpy.
Young Sheldon kind of did. It's a bit of a disappointment. I was like, I thought this was a comedy. You guys lied to me. He-Man made me mad. the first one because Darnell rated it so low. I was pretty pissed about that. Actually, the newer He-Man, not the Kevin Smith one, but the one that, whatever, on Netflix. That one made me mad too, because I'm like, this isn't even He-Man at all. It's just a cartoon that has some similar names, but that's not in any way related to He-Man at all. Just call it something else. Call it Bubble Town. Don't care. But it wasn't He-Man.
I disagree on that one, but that's just me.
But you enjoyed the show, but it wasn't very He-Man.
There was one scene, I think in season 3, where they were going through something where they were changing their form. And at one point they changed into exactly the characters from the 80s He-Man.
Wow, that is pretty cool. But
yeah.
I think you proved my point for me. There was one scene in the 3rd season, he says. I rest my case.
Fair point.
But that's pretty cool. I kind of want to see that now.
Yeah.
Just that one scene.
It's the same episode. I think they had Wallace Shawn in it too.
Well, and that's what I felt about She-Ra, which everyone
like that one
loved.
too.
But
I like these new cartoons.
But it didn't feel like She-Ra to me. So
yeah, bummer. Well, everybody, that's about it for us. So everybody at home, just remember to please give this video a like. Make sure you are subscribed. Give us a 5-star rating when you are listening in on your audio podcast. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think of Hyperdrive or what you think of this review, and especially what you would like us to review. That would be WTF, the show you want us to review, and where we can find it. I think that's about it. This podcast was slimy.
This podcast did not happen on Bring Your Clone to Work Day.
This podcast forgot the biggity baggity bong. Don't remember that line?
I missed it. But I liked it. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Have fun, enjoy yourselves, and remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Don't shoot at people in the appointments diary. Oh, wait, no, that was a line from the show. Don't forget to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things.
All right, everybody. Freeze frame like you're a glish. I don't even know what you guys are doing right now.